started. Hello, hello. Everyone can hear me? I see Destiny Gray here, D20 TV, Lec2. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last live stream of the year of 2023 of The Forge. How are you doing, Lec2? Yana's here as well, Artifician. Heidi ho for Dorinos. Alright. I hope everyone is having a good time. Hopefully with some vacation soon and Christmas coming soon. You did all your shopping and getting ready for the new year as well. I like this time of year because I get to rest between Christmas and January. Usually I take that as a vacation and I get to rest and just enjoy the new year rolling out. Anyways, I think we're gonna start this stream. Thank you for everybody who joined us. I'll start by mentioning that The Forge was at PAX Unplugged this year. So if you have not met us and you were there, we are sorry that we missed you. But Destiny Gray, Rug Halt, and me, we went to PAX this year to meet up with people at the convention hall, and we met a few different people, among others, Tom Cardos, Lemitron, DM Dave, Corprot, and a few other people. It was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot about so many different things, and just how cool board games are. That was the focus of that convention. A lot of Magic the Gathering, a lot of board games from various studios, and also so many different things for tabletop RPG as well. So that was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely be doing more of that in the coming years. Apart from that, we do have an announcement. We are doing a new hiring phase. So I don't know if you've seen that. We did announce it in our Discord yesterday, I believe. And so we are expanding the team again. And this is actually funny because we've just expanded the team um, in the last couple of days by two new people who joined, um, but under different roles than what we're currently seeking on LinkedIn and in our jobs page. Um, so we can welcome, before I talk about the current hiring phase, let's give a warm welcome to D20 TV, who is currently in the chat. If you don't know her, she is a streamer who does an amazing homebrew campaign, and we used to have her sponsored by the Forge for her live stream, and she'll be joining us. She started yesterday, and she'll be basically taking on the role of what Kevin used to do. If you all remember our dearly departed Kevin. Okay, that's a bad way to say it, but Kevin, who unfortunately left the Forge a few months back, and we've been what? I didn't say departed from the world, departed from the company. Destiny, don't worry. But yes, Kevin is not dead. He just left to explore other ventures in his life. But he was working on a lot of the multimedia stuff, graphics design, UX design, and some graphics that we need for the site, for our social media, etc. Um, and yeah, uh, D20 TV is going to take on that role, and yeah, we are very excited to see what she's going to be bringing to the table. I expect that we'll be seeing a little bit more activity on our YouTube channel with maybe some short tutorial videos and things like that as well. So yeah, Kevin haunts the Force. No, he does not haunt us. And I I don't know if he's in a better place. I feel like there's no better place than the Forge, but I think he's enjoying the change. He's working in a different kind of environment, local company where he gets to go to the office every day and all that. So he says he's enjoying that. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy for Kevin. Um, Let me see. I see a question here already by Patos4068. Are there any plans to expand video chat to other pay tiers? No plans about that, no. I think that the LiveKit servers being restricted to World Builder makes a lot of sense in terms of server costs and also in terms of functionality given to each tier that is proportionate to kind of um, what they're paying. And usually, if you were to look elsewhere for LiveKit um, servers, it would be about $5 per month just for that. So we kind of just gave that to our World Builder tier without any kind of increase in price or anything like that. So um, yeah, I think it's fair. All right, so apart from D20 TV, who is joining us, we are also going to have Corporat joining us from the League of Developers, if you've heard about those. And he's also, module developer, and he does a bunch of work on converting OSC adventures for Foundry and things like that. And he'll be joining us as well soon to help out the Forge in various aspects. So that's pretty cool. And with that, as we are welcoming those two into the team, we're also looking to hire more people. And let me actually show you here. You can click to join the team here, and that's our jobs page, and you can see the roles. They are similar to what we were looking for a few months back, which is a senior DevOps engineer as well as senior software developer. You can check out the details of what we're looking for and how to apply on our jobs page. So if you think that you are qualified for the role, um, please submit, and we'll review your application, and hopefully you'll get to join the Forge, which is, still a small business, a startup, but it's fully work from home, fully remote, and we offer good positions, competitive compensation, and it's a fun place to work, from what I'm being told. But yeah, and um, yeah, if you want to see whatever work you do impacting users on a daily basis, um, because we're still such a small team, uh, compared to like larger corporations, you can get very quickly to see your contributions um, uh, affecting the players. We do have a slight preference towards Canadian applicants, but we'll take anyone internationally. Um, uh, uh, Anyone is, welcome to submit their candidature, and we'll be looking at everybody based on their skill set. Um, so yeah, there's that. Checking. Okay, thank you D20 for the D20 TV for posting the link. And yeah, what else do we have to talk about? Um, so we do have a year-end review for kind of everything that happened throughout the year, as we get into 2024, which is crazy that we're already in 2024. Well, we aren't, but very soon we will be. Um, So we've looked a bit at what we've accomplished throughout the year, and I'll be talking about that in a second. But now I want to concentrate on specifically what we've done since the last live stream, kind of the more recent changes. Um, and so you'll see quite a bit of polish and improvements throughout the site. Um, if some of you have noticed, we added a rate monitor for our API um, last time for the Forge for the Foundry games themselves. So that helped us find quite a few broken modules or um, bad actors potentially that were just spamming the Forge servers for APIs to browse for files and things like that, mostly in like infinite loops, and that allowed us to kind of figure out where those issues were coming from and decrease that load, not just on the servers but also on the game, because when that was happening, when you have an infinite loop in any kind of module, that's going to affect the performance of the game itself. So um, we released that a while back, and we quickly got some feedback because we were maybe a little bit too aggressive in the way that we were detecting those um, those requests, and we weren't providing enough feedback to the user on how to resolve it. So we changed that. Now the rate monitor will be um, uh, less aggressive in its detection of bad actors, but it will also guide users towards our troubleshooting guide, which tells them exactly how to find which module is causing the issue and how to report it. So that has helped quite a bit, I believe. We've also fixed a few bugs that were introduced in the updated import wizard, because we did update the import wizard last time with new interface, new workflow, and I believe that was very well received. But we had a couple of bugs that we discovered post-release that we managed to fix, and a little bit of polish on that. And if you have perhaps noticed, we've also improved in quite a few areas our scheduler and orchestrating algorithms for Foundry games, which should have decreased significantly the kind of potential slowdowns that users might see during peak usage, especially as it's 8 p.m. and within the same like 1 or 2 minutes you have a lot of users suddenly starting their game. So it was causing a little bit of peak in terms of um, uh, how fast you can launch your game. So instead of maybe instead of 3 seconds, it was taking 5 seconds, or maybe instead of 5 seconds, it was taking 20 seconds. Just giving like random numbers, but there were not many, but there were some complaints about peak usage time where things might be slowed down a little bit. And we've improved that, and I believe eliminated most of those issues. So um, uh, hopefully everyone is now even more satisfied with the kind of performance they're getting from their games. And I believe that shows also with regards to the force support in our Discord, that we haven't really seen any kind of negative feedback on those changes. So I'm quite happy with that. Um, and another big part of the polish that we did, that was just from yesterday's release, um, was an update to the bazaar. There's there was the update to the bazaar itself that happened a few months back, but there were a little bit of polish issues, such as if you were to click on um, a author here, for example, or a category here, etc., it wasn't um, showing you. It wasn't affecting the filter. Now it does. It works. There's quite a lot of fixes and polish and just improvements to the bazaar, so it loads faster, and the creator page. So if we are to go looking for creators, let's remove this. Let's say Forgotten Adventures as an example. Um, it's now working better. There were some issues in how it was displaying the content initially. You can add to cart or something like that. So now you can, or gift it. There were a few small bugs and issues that we discovered, and we've been working on improving those and eliminated all of those small nitpicks. To basically improve the user experience in accessing the bazaar. There's still one issue that we want to work on quite a bit is the slow access to the bazaar when you just open the page, because it takes a little bit of time to just basically start displaying your packages, because it does need to go and fetch all of that information from the servers. And there's a lot of packages. Yeah, 5,406 packages, which is a lot. So that definitely still needs some improvements, and we are still currently working on improving that speed of access when you're trying to access the bazaar itself. But yeah, there's quite a bit of changes. I suggest you check out the changelog from our release yesterday. Let me quickly check out. No comments. All right. And so another big feature that we released. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can now set a date and next scheduled game. So you can schedule the next game session, and so we can say, for example, this was at 3 p.m. And then, oh yeah, the game is currently in use, so I can't change that apparently. If I was to set it on this one, for example, then you get to see this next game session. Now it's currently blue because it's currently the right time for it. Otherwise, it would not have that blue background. But you can set the next game session on your games, and you can select whether they are running on a specific date, or every week, every 2 weeks, etc., or even by saying it's every Saturday and every Wednesday, or something like that. So it will automatically update the next game schedule once the game time has passed. And this is a really cool feature that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Specifically when Foundry added the next game option to the worlds, and we've usually just left it to Foundry, but I found that having to set the date after every game made it basically unused, at least by me. And so I wanted something that you can just set it and forget it, and it will automatically update the time for the next game session. And so we finally get to have that, thanks to Vabs, who worked on this. And I'll let you in on a little secret. This is not as easy as it sounds to achieve, especially when it comes to people from different time zones, when you have daylight savings time that applies for some people and for some others it doesn't, etc. It can get quite complex, but I think we've figured out exactly how to do it so it, it reliably shows you the right time regardless of your time zone or daylight savings, uh, whether your time zone respects the DST uh, stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It should cut down on any kind of player confusion and simplifies things so you can always know when your next game is coming up. Um, if you have not seen, let me just check quickly. D20 TV asking, does it send reminders to the players? No, it does not send reminders to the players. It only shows it in the game list. So if you go to your game list, you can see all of your games and when their next game session is scheduled. Um, uh, Sending an email reminder would be a cool feature to have. But yeah, it does not currently do that. So the next point in the agenda is our user agreements. So if you missed the news, that means you probably didn't check your emails, you didn't check social media or our Discord announcements or the website announcements. But we finally updated our terms of service and privacy policy. So you should have received an email to notify you about the update to the user agreements, and you can check them out. There you go, like privacy policy here, and actually you can also do it from here. And we've written a blog post about it where you'll see both the new privacy policy and terms of service, but you'll also be able to see the old version if you want to basically compare what changed. And to be honest, not a lot has changed, not much. It's not technically supposed to really affect you that much in terms of what you can do and can't do. It's mostly the same thing, just a little bit more formal, approved by a lawyer, just to make sure that there's no word that might be too vague, etc. And what we used to have is basically just terms of service that says that you should be, um, uh, creating an environment that is, what's the word? Um, Not behaving in a bad manner towards the other people on the site, and basically rules of conduct more than a terms of service. So that's changed to specifically call out any kind of disruptive behavior and also clearly state what we can do in case of an abusive behavior or disruptive behavior on our services. With regards to the privacy policy, it didn't change anything. It's just kind of updating the information about what kind of information we collect and how we use it. So you can see how long we store the information and things like that. So that, as well as giving you kind of a list of your rights and what you can do, um, uh, and yeah, all of that stuff that should be in a privacy policy. Now it's clearly spelled out. Something that I want to make sure that everybody understand is that we do not sell anyone's data. We don't um, use any of that data in a way that would be unethical, and we only use the data for providing the services to the Forge. Um, but you can check out the full privacy policy and the terms of service either through our blog, or you can just go and check them out through the terms section from the navigation bar. Um, uh, what else is there? Something? Yeah, that's about it. Just check those out. We recommend, more than recommend. You should definitely go ahead and read them just to know what it is um, that our terms of service contain, as well as our privacy policy, and know what your rights are. So yeah, we insist, go and check it out. And apart from that, if you have not noticed, we have a little bit of um, snow on the website, which is fun to try and just touch them with the mouse to clear them out. It's our new site decorations for Christmas. So you can enable it and disable it from here. It's similar to how we did the Halloween decorations. And this is just to give the Forge a little bit of a festive vibe. So go ahead and enable it. It's nice. I like it personally quite a bit. It's not very disruptive, and it adds a little bit of that joyous feeling of the holidays. And you can have that little fun game with catching the snowflakes. And it's also um, uh, the right time for you to be looking at some of the content in the bazaar that's winter themed, and we're going to be showcasing some of that in a minute. But yeah, we're having uh, hello, hello. Okay, my audio is back. I apologize. My headphones, when there's no audio playing in my ears, it does that. It goes into uh, uh, energy saving mode and just shuts off because it doesn't realize that I'm using the microphone. It thinks that I just forgot to mute the microphone and left my headphones uh, on. So, what was I saying? Right. We'll be showcasing some of these packages in a minute, but you can certainly go look for our. There's Christmas. We have Angela Maps Snowman package. There's, I believe, winter. Where's the winter? We have a filter that's winter based. Tag winter location. There you go. And so there's a few, and we expect to see a bit more of those coming as we draw closer towards January. So we'll uh, we'll be promoting some of these packages soon, and you'll see probably sale on these packages or on newer ones. I will let Destiny talk a bit more about that, as he's about to do a showcase of some of these packages. And yeah, Destiny, are you here? He's currently muted. Yes, you are muted. Let me just switch to Discord scene. There is no sound from you. Okay, give me a second. Why is there no sound? Say something.
Hello?
There you go. I think it was probably when my headphones turned off. They kind of lost the fact that I had um, like the default audio output changed. All right. So as you're about to showcase some of these things, we do have, as usual, a gift card giveaway. So let me just post that in the chat. I believe it's hashtag Happy Holidays. Is that it?
Yep, it has to be announced first before it starts working, so hang on just a bit, everyone.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Just go
All
ahead and
right.
type that, and you'll get a chance at winning a $20 gift card to the Forge.
Yes. And after the Bazaar showcase, we'll be doing the draw for the $20 gift card. So stay right here. And after that, I'm going to do a year in review for what kind of big changes that we did on the Forge in 2023 and talk a little bit about what I expect will be coming for 2024 as well. So yeah, make sure you enter the giveaway, and I will now let Destiny um, uh, explain, well, not explain, but showcase the bazaar.
All right, so Kakaroto, since I was muted at the start, you're gonna have to laugh at everything I say again as if it's funny the second time.
It
So,
wasn't funny the first time.
damn. Oops. Right. So in that case, you'll just go ahead straight to the Bazaar Showcase. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy on board. All right,
Right.
it's pulled up. So we get right into it. Let's first start with some lovely musical accompaniment to get you on your way. You are
Ooh,
currently
that's nice.
listening to Mick Rowe Music's Whimsical Winters music album. Mick Rowe Music is an amazing composer. We've showed him off so many times in these bizarre showcases, and we'll show him off a few million more times
Can
until.
you just lower the volume of the music because it's a little loud compared to your own voice?
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yes, indeed. So you might notice. You might notice he has quite a selection, and they're all looping. He makes some wonderful music for your sessions. Music that's truly made for the TTRPG experience. My mic isn't too loud. Kakaroto is just too quiet. I talk at a normal American volume. Uh,
American volume, I didn't realize that was standard.
yeah, we get it at birth. You see, the doctors wire a boombox into our throats, and it's
Okay,
powered by our brain's electrosphere or whatever that is, right?
makes
And
total sense.
And that's
I,
why Mick Rowe music is so good. It's because he's American. Is he American? I don't know if he's American. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't want to assume, and maybe he's not American, and you're just saying things now
anyway,
about him.
this music is very good. You might notice that it's not all combat music. There's this very happy, sentimental music that's good for like maybe the players has just defeated something and they're getting the ending monologue. Maybe they've just discovered the gift of Christmas. It's all yeah. See, D20 TV is American. Kim gets it. Right. So you got all sorts of different musical tones here. We have a kind of weird tone that's kind of puzzling. We had that tone that was sentimental. You get all sorts of good music with this pack, and it's going to be super cheap during our winter sale. For context, it's normally something like $5 or $6. It's going to be $2.99 this winter sale, which is insane.
Okay.
These are so many tracks that you're getting for like 20-25 cents a pop.
It's extremely affordable.
Yeah, I'm gonna be picking this up early. Heck, it's just good music, and it's gonna be perfect for my campaigns. So definitely pick this up. And next, we're going to show off something you might have been eyeing. So, as you might notice here, we have two polar bears devouring this poor giant goat. Uh, the goat doesn't appear too happy to be gnawed on, but polar bears will eat anything. So they're not as ravenous and vicious as monkeys, but they're still pretty evil. And meanwhile, these poor guards are trying to stop the polar bears, and they've got their own little snow golem to help fight them. This is from Kevin D&G's A Very Merry Christmas. He makes these fun, bombastic, cartoonish token art where the art is literally popping out of the token border, giving it a kind of 2.5D presence to it as you play on the screen. With these nice scales, you get these like almost looking alive as they try to fight, and your players can confront like these guards. Maybe you're making like a nutcracker type session, or you want to have help Frosty the Snowman take over the North Pole for his own machinations so that he can live beyond the winter years. Uh, that might be more of an evil campaign, but you know what? There's nothing quite like running an evil campaign for Christmas. Uh, I highly recommend it. It will just go ahead and go to the art here. You'll see that he has quite a few different examples of art, including some portrait art, different token variations, and even some ghostly variations that you can use for your campaigns. Best of all, it too will only be $2.99 on the bazaar during the winter sale. Very, very good art.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I really
Ne-
like the 3D effect of the tokens.
yes. I'm a huge fan of his art, and I'm always happy to showcase it, especially his holiday art, because it is so fitting for the holidays. He is so good at making thematic packs. Next, we have this lovely little scene here you might have noticed we're on. This is from Dead For You Media's Snowfall map pack. We have a few of these here. For instance, let me go ahead and pop this out. We can just go to oh,
I
there we go.
I'm not sure if it's coming from me or from you, but I'm hearing some kind of noise distortion, or like the audio is
Huh.
kind of getting. Now it came back to normal. I know you've had internet issues lately, so that might have just been a network problem.
So we get
And
this nice little snowfall. It's going to be a little slow to load, but you might notice there's all sorts of stuff. There's variations on the same map where it's less blue and dark and more daylight and snowy out. There's these raised platforms here. It's a little hard to see, but if you zoom in, you can like kind of see it. There's these passes, and there's various forests. He makes these nice generic snowfall maps that you can use just plop down in your campaign because sometimes you just need that. And it's super lovely, it's brilliant, it's good. It's the kind of stuff that just you need if you're going to be running any kind of extended winter slash snowfall type encounter slash campaign, and you need more of those types of maps. They come ready on the bazaar for you to throw into your scenes, and right now they are only $4.99 on the bazaar marketplace.
that's Snowfall by Alex at Dead For You Media, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Awesome.
then finally, the final package. This one isn't a free one like we normally do. On the other hand, it's very good, so I'm going to be showing it off anyway. So instead of perhaps showing it off like normal, maybe we can just enable perfect. Let's just go ahead and import it right now. So we'll go ahead and refresh the map. And then we get prompted to import it. Well, let's go ahead and import it into this existing world that's already been created. Import adventure. And we get to choose between level 2 and 4. This is In the Court of the Frozen Queen, a feature complete level 2 to 4 or 4 to 6 campaign for 5th and 3.5e. So we go ahead and import the one for level 2. It's going to import everything. We'll get a warning that we might need to migrate some compendiums. It seemed fine when I tested it out earlier. And you can see we immediately get all these maps made and ready. We get the items imported, we get these monsters imported, these characters imported. You get all sorts of stuff brought in instantly. You get these magical items, you get the journal handout describing the full adventure and each of its acts, a description that you can have for your players, and how to run the campaign here. It's very, very good, and I can highly recommend it. Rughalt has been making content via Dragon's Horn Games for Foundry VTT since the very beginning of Foundry VTT, and his adventures are always so easy to just drag and drop into your worlds. Create a new one, bring it into an existing world to give your players a good filler campaign between like whatever you're planning. And right now it is $14.95 on the bazaar, but it will be going on sale during our Boxing Week, which is the 26th to the 31st. So I highly recommend checking out all this stuff, especially during our sale, because you might find it handy. And hey, maybe for that Winter Court adventure, you could use some snowfall maps, or maybe a bit of additional music, because if I remember, yes, indeed, his adventures do come with music. Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing. A lot of value in that package, for sure.
Exactly. So that's all for my Bazaar showcase. I'm extremely happy to show it all off, and thank you all for watching my Bazaar showcase and the live stream in general. I hope you all have a happy holidays. Good luck with the holidays too, because I know for many of you it can be stressful with increased costs, struggling to get all of your work done before time off. But just know it's going to be worth it when you get to actually celebrate the holidays. Later.
All right. Thank you very much. And if you like the Court of the Frozen Queen by Dragon's Horn Tales, I believe he also has a Kickstarter running right now for his next adventure. Actually, I think my voice is silent. No. Destiny, that might be just you. You probably muted Twitch when you went into Discord. Yeah, audio seems to be working fine on this side. So yeah, I was saying, I think it's not actually a Kickstarter. It's BackerKit. Yes, it's on BackerKit, and you can look it up. I don't have the link ready, but yeah, Dragon's Horn Studio does some really amazing adventures. So check it out. Right, we have only 8 people who entered the giveaway. So if you missed your chance, if you didn't know, if you're still here and want to be in the giveaway, we'll be giving away a $20 gift card. Just type hashtag Happy Holidays in the chat, and Seagrim Shell, it's not hippie holidays, it's happy holidays. But yeah, you're not eligible anyway because you're part of the Forge team. So, but yeah, all right. So if I believe everybody has already entered their happy holiday in the in the chat, I will be showing the entrance. All right, drawing entrant. Jubal Rawl. it would be Jubal Roll who won. How about cookies? Jubal Roll, you don't say no presents, you just won. So Jubal Roll is the $20 gift card giveaway winner for this live stream. So big congratulations to you, and Destiny Gray will contact you to give you that gift card claim code. All right. Yeah, yeah, Lectu, you're right. They want the gift card and cookies. I apologize. I only have a gift card for you. You will have to figure out the cookie situation all on your own. All right. Awesome. Um, Thanks for participating, everybody, and hopefully next time you'll be the winners of our monthly giveaway. And now let's have our little year in review um, section before we go into a Q&A. All right. So this year we were quite busy, and uh, we implemented quite a few big changes to the Forge, which I'm sure many of you appreciated. Um, One of the big ones was the revamped assets library. A lot of improvements on the assets library with a new user interface, a new way to manipulate the data, to see your quota, to move copy files, switching to list view instead of grid view, being able to manipulate the size of the thumbnails, um, sort, which was so often requested, so many things in just this revamp. And also, you have access now to shared folders, so you can actually share your folders with your friends and decide on if it's read, write, how long they will have access, etc. And it's not just about being able to share a specific folder. You also have the ability to just have a link um, being sent, and uh, the shared folder gets added to your account instead of having to copy and paste and switch between different API keys like we've had before. Now it's just all part of your account, and then you can access it from either the assets library or from within Foundry, which is great. And this opens up so many possibilities for future developments in 2024. But I think this is something that a lot of users requested, not just the share folders, obviously, but the whole update in how the assets library looks. The list view, the sort option, the varying thumbnail size, the ability to um, the ability to search in a specific folder or the entire assets library, or recursively in a folder and its subfolders, and things like that. All of that have been features that have been requested. So having a drop area, so if you drag and drop a file, it's easy uh, to upload new files, etc. So the whole update um, uh, was happened in multiple phases. I think we're at phase 5 now, or phase 6. I think the shared folder was phase 5. So we have quite a few different features that we want for our assets library, and you've seen these changes um, being posted throughout the year at regular intervals as we were progressing towards that uh, new interface and ability to navigate your files. So this is pretty cool. Um, and the second big thing was Foundry V11 was released in May, I believe, towards the end of May, and it took quite a while for us to have that kind of support for Foundry because of the massive changes that were in there. Um, but now it's our recommended version. I think things are going pretty well with Foundry V11. I think it's pretty stable as well, so very happy with all of that. It took just a bunch of time during our year just to kind of work towards that goal of providing as good a user experience as we want to our users with Foundry V11. Um, Apart from that, there were also a lot of internal changes, uh, documenting more of our internal processes, adding some unit testing for the developers here. They'll understand, but internal tools, changing some of our processes to make things more streamlined, less dependent on me as well, because we don't want things to break and nobody able to fix it in case I'm sick, for example, or just unavailable for any kind of reason. So um, delegating a bit more of the responsibilities off of me. And I mean, I still do a lot of uh, the stuff, but I'm not the only one who can do it, which is, I think, very important for the long-term continuation and health of the company. So those were all parts of the kind of changes that we've been doing in the last few months. Just being able um, uh, to give that kind of organizational structure and accesses to the team, as well as the changes to our tools, the build tools, the testing framework. All of those things are very important. Um, uh, to help us, move the software forward, basically. Easier to maintain and add new features, etc. So a lot of refactoring and all of that. Obviously, there's been a lot of polish throughout the website. So many different things. I'm not gonna list them all, but I'm sure you've all noticed some of those changes, at least. We have the AI help, we have the decorations, we have the next game session, we have um, a lot of that. But another big change that happened in 2023 was also the update to the bazaar, because we switched from our older bazaar interface, which was released, when the bazaar was released the first time, and it was in dire need of a revamp. You can still access it here, by the way. Um, and so we've changed the bazaar into this new interface where you have um, much better control over your filters. You have a much nicer search bar with so many different ways to find the content that you're looking for. There's even presets. There's all sorts of features in here that um, you can see. We also wrote documentation on that, but you can see a lot of changes on the bazaar in how you can access and find the content you're looking for, um, compared with our previous one, which was a little, um, let's just say it was lacking on multiple aspects. Um, we still are working on improving that. So in 2024, you will still see changes to our bazaar, because we're still not done with that. We still need better ways to make you find the content that you want to find. So discoverability, of course. Um, Also changing these cards so they're maybe more appropriate to the kind of content that's in there, and changing quite a few different things that we have planned, but we didn't get a chance yet to implement in 2023. But 2024, I expect that we'll be able to see those changes um, appearing, as well as changes to how content creators will be able to submit their packages um, and things like that. So just as a sort of sneak peek, um, the uh, uh, the asset packs. So if you are looking at asset packs here, right? So asset packs, we want to allow content creators to be able to uh, just submit their asset packs via an interface that looks like the assets library. So the whole share folder system was kind of a prerequisite for that. So you'll be able to potentially just see an interface of your assets and just be able to upload, modify, and manipulate those assets packs directly instead of using a zip file with a manifest, etc., like the current system is in the same kind of thinking, being able to just upload a zip file to update your content should be something that's coming um, uh, hopefully soon in 2024. Yeah, I was hoping for it to be done in 2023, but I think it's clear at this point that we're not going to be able to meet that kind of deadline. Um, so yeah, what else did we do? We've improved also the way that our D&D Beyond integration works. So if you're importing content, uh, now you get this kind of step by step on what's happening. But also we've finally managed to solve one of the biggest issues we've had, which was the ability um, to do dependency content. So, if you're importing something like um, this one, Acquisition Incorporated, for example, then it will probably be depending on content from the PHP, um, or the DMG or whatever, other content that it's referencing, just like spells from a NPC would be from the basic rules or the PHP. So those dependencies that contain the actual spell or monster, etc., from the monster manual as well, um, those are um, uh, being brought at the same time so that you can have your package contain everything that it should. Also with the compendium browser, I'm sure you've seen that before, makes accessing that content a breeze, really great. That was one of the big changes that we did as well this year. um, Apart from that, I mean, um, we've had another great initiative from our adventure log. So if you go to the adventure log, you'll see our Stars of the VTT Galaxy series, which the most recent one from December 4th was about Vic Nadell. It's the 10th installment of it, and we've had Yana and Destiny also doing those interviews, and I think it's really great to be able to showcase some of the people that make up the community of content creators on the Forge. And yeah, so you can certainly go and watch, or rather read, those interviews and learn more about the people who make your games possible, with you know adventures, maps, tokens, modules, whatever they are making, uh, uh, they are the stars of the VTT Galaxy. So we launched that new series, which I think has been quite popular, and people are enjoying learning more about uh, um, these creators. And yeah, I think like this year has been a very, very interesting one, especially as last January it started with the whole OGL scandal, that I think it shook the tabletop RPG world quite a bit, and there was a lot of uncertainty, but I think we managed to um, make our all of our voices heard and rectify the direction that Wizards of the Coast were going, with the OGL specifically, and uh, that kind of helped us. As you start into this new year, January of last year, it was a very chaotic time, and we managed um, to stabilize all of that, thankfully. And now I think the whole community is in such a better position with regards to the OGL, and Paizo has gotten quite a bit of interest as well with Pathfinder 2. Um, so yeah, it was an interesting year for sure. Um, AI was another big subject, um, and that was, I think it started towards the end of 2022, but a lot of those conversations were happening in 2023, and we were um, basically tasked with figuring out how AI um, image generation uh, fits within the bazaar and the created content on the Forge. And yeah, we've had a lot of very difficult conversations and um, just thinking about the ethics and um, all that it entails working with AI image generation. That was an interesting, another interesting thing um, that we had to go through in 2023. Um, and apart from that, one of the biggest things for me personally is the fact that we grew as a company. I don't remember exactly how many people we were in 2003, like January 1st, but we've definitely grown with quite a few hires throughout the year. Um, Tiana joined us, Zlatan joined us, Denise joined us, Vabs joined us. Um, so many people. Well, Rughalt more recently, D20 TV, and Corporate even more recently, less than 24 hours recent. But yeah, we're very much growing, and this year has been phenomenal on just having this an amazing team um, working with them. And yeah, uh, I'm just gonna say I appreciate everyone working for the Forge, and everyone's doing an amazing job. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining um, joining us and helping make the Forge better. Um, and yeah, uh, I am I'm lost. Where was I? Um, well, I think that's about it from our 2003 year in review. Um, yeah, I mean it's been a very interesting year. It passed very quickly. Um, so I don't know. I can't believe that we're nearly in 2024. Um, yeah. And for next year, because I did talk about a little bit of the roadmap, what we'll be working on is, again, the bazaar is, I think, a big priority. We've been working on it for a couple of years now, I believe, but continuing to improve the bazaar, make it easier for users to access the content, make it much faster to actually open that page and browse the content, etc. It's it's I think going to be very important, and then from there um, we have other improvements like notifications. I want to be able to allow um, uh, uh, allow us as well as content creators to uh, send notifications to users who follow, for example, a creator, so you can see when they release a new package, but also being able to just tell a user something um, if uh, like the new game session, next game session, being able to have a little notification that says, "Hey, look, we have this new feature that you might be interested in," for example. I think that's something that we're uh, probably going to be releasing soon-ish. Um, but yeah, uh, and I don't know. We have a bunch of projects Somehow I'm blanking right now, but 2024 will have, I think will be a great year. And I don't want to talk too much about kind of some of the plans that we have because they're not yet finalized. And I don't want to make any kind of promises on kind of features that may not be coming because, you know, we haven't fully decided on them. But yeah, I'll leave it to that. Um, let's see here. I'll switch to um, the Q&A mode in OBS, and let me just catch up on the questions that we have. Um, um, I missed quite a few things. Everyone tests in production. Reps yacht. No. It's better not to. Um, yeah, Jubal Raw, at my current and past job, it has been important to document and not rely on tribal knowledge. Yes, it's um I hadn't heard the term tribal knowledge like that, but it's very, very accurate. Yeah. Um, I think it's just natural to not have that much kind of documentation when it's a one-man project, which it was originally, obviously. And the more people joined, the more it became important to have that kind of documentation and centralized knowledge instead of, knowledge just in people's brains. So yeah. D20 TV saying, not gonna lie, I love the changes to the assets library so far, especially for prepping. It helps with smoother on-the-fly transitions when live, because players will always go 20 different directions other than ways you expected. Yeah, I'm glad it's been helpful. Um, and there's going to be more changes to the assets library. Yeah, that's also part of 2024. We're still, like I mentioned before, we're at phase 6, and there's still more content, more features coming to the assets library. Um, you'll get to hear about them, D20 TV, since you're now part of the team. But yeah, there's more changes coming that way. Um, uh, Zlatan saying I forgot you. I didn't forget you. Let's see. Pathfinder 2 for the win. Community reaction to OGL was one of the best I ever saw in my life. That is very true. I also felt that. It was extremely um, uh, solidaire. I know in English solidarity, but I don't know like the solidaire. um, I don't know. I have the word in French and it doesn't seem to translate. But like everyone was in solidarity with each other, basically. I don't think there's a single word to say in solidarity with each other. Um, anyway, uh, yeah. Um, again, congrats on the growth. Been here from close to the start. Repsiot, thank you. Appreciate it. Um, Best service. Question: are you going to tell us your favorite holiday drink? Um, D20 TV, my favorite holiday drink. Oof. What's a holiday drink? Uh, well, I guess Christmas there's the eggnog thing. I can't really say it's my favorite. I I like to buy it because it's in the shelves. I'm like, okay, sure, it's time for it. But yeah. Oh, like mulled wine, spiced port. Oh, I see. I don't actually drink alcohol. I don't really like it, so I don't have any of those things. When I drink something, it's usually water. Um, yeah, so I don't think that the holiday spirits makes me want to drink something other than water. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Um, no, Zlatan, it is definitely not tea. I don't drink tea. Or coffee. I don't drink tea or coffee or alcohol. And yeah, water is fine for me. Repsiot question: did the Foundry backup option cause issues with your world backup feature from a conflict perspective? That's a great question. It did not cause a conflict. Um, because Foundry, when they released that, they allowed a option that you can give to Foundry to make it disable the feature. So by simply disabling the feature, we didn't have that kind of conflict potential because basically we just don't have Foundry's backup option when you're on the Forge because we have our own. And most of what Foundry's backup system does is just copy the folder um, in your data directory. So it doesn't really um, do any kind of downloading to the user, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong, but um, so you would basically do a backup, but then you still have to go and download it. And people can already export their worlds and gives them a backup locally. So it didn't really make sense to have both of those systems there at the same time. Um, yeah. Let's see. Eggnog is S tier holiday drink. S tier. Uh, yeah. It's. I mean, it's fine. Eggnog is just extremely sweet, which is my problem with it. Like the stuff that I would buy at a grocery store, basically. Um, Lek2 asking question, not really for you, but if you've got a vested interest, I think. Lancer for V11. Huh. You would need to poke Aranziel about that. We were just talking about it, I believe, yesterday, and he said he was, I think, something like 80% done on the refactor. Um, but that's the issue is that the V11 port is more or less done. The problem is the refactor that's in the middle of the process, and he needs to finish that before he's able to make the release, and that's what's taking the longest time. Eranziel, sorry, he asked the question about Lancer for V11. It's not me. You can take it up with Leg 2. Yeah. But I didn't know you were here, Renziel, otherwise I wouldn't have spoken about you, obviously. Just kidding, I still would have spoken. Um, alright. Another question. If not, I believe. Yes, the microphone is back on. Um, oh, you were poking at me because I said it's my favorite system. Yeah, I mean, I'm not currently playing, so that's why it's not like even if it's my favorite system, I'm not actively playing a game in Lancer, so I don't have much to say about that. All right, so other question from Repsiot. If not backup, what seems to be the difficulty? Incorporating the latest patches becoming default, or is that my impatience? Um, I assume you're talking about Foundry V11, why it was such a challenge to get that um, working. Trying to understand the question before I go on a tangent. V13. What's 313? Is that a code for yes? Oh, the latest V11 313. Wait, is that not something available right now? No, we have V11 313 and V11 315 available already. So yeah, when there's a Foundry release, um, yeah, we generally do. I do see that Three no 312 was V10. So no, we didn't miss. Oh, 314 is missing though. So I wonder what that was. Um, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Um, but yeah, so for V11 itself, the change to level DB um, was a huge, huge complexity for us. Um, because one of the reasons, for example, is that level DB, when it opens, um, it's um, when Foundry is open, I mean, it's taking an exclusive lock on the database, so we can't read it in any way. So that was causing issues because if you have two games open at the same time, you can't access compendiums from modules or systems between the like on any of the second or third game that you launched in parallel. So that was causing issues, obviously. We also couldn't use the user manager because we can't manipulate the user's database in Foundry anymore. We couldn't do the migration of the worlds or modules in the client. Basically, before if you're using the import wizard, it was going to manipulate the data, like figure out what's in your world, etc., by reading the database and then updating it to use the assets library before it did the import. But we couldn't do that with V11 because there is simply no way to do that on a browser. It had to be a Node.js application running server side that can read the binary format of the level DB databases, which which is very different from the text JSON files that that it used before. So we had to change the way that the import wizard worked so that if there's V11 content in it, then it sends it to the server to do the migration first um, as part of the import process instead of doing it on the client. So that changed a lot of the design in how the import wizard was working. It changed a lot of how the user manager was working. It caused issues with the game manager. So if you have multiple games launching at the same time, um, it affected quite a lot of features that made life easier on the Forge. Um, but suddenly you couldn't get those quality of life improvements. And that was one of the issues. The second one, why it took, I believe it took about 3 months before we started recommending V11, was that it was still a little unstable. Even after those stable releases by Foundry, there were still bugs being reported that we didn't feel confident enough recommending that version yet to the users. While those bugs were present. And every time there was a release, we kept track of what the bugs are that people are reporting, and we were making that decision. Are these bugs considered critical that we don't want to recommend it if people are going to be hit by that, or are they, minor bugs that they'll get fixed in an upcoming release and it's not that big of a deal? So it took about 3 months before some of the really most critical bugs in V11 were entirely fixed. And another thing that we had to handle with V11 was that a lot of our users, they tried V11 and suddenly they didn't have access to hundreds, potentially hundreds of modules. And the reason for that is the module um, uh, .json, the module manifest basically changed some of the specifications. So if you had, sorry, if you had an old module from V9 era, I think, or even earlier, that was just like a compendium module, for example, it would stop loading because the manifest format changed. So we had to do our tool that you actually saw that during the Bazaar showcase where um, Destiny was showing one of the notifications that said, oh, you need to migrate some of your compendiums. And so we had to create that tool so we detect if there's any kind of issue in the manifest of the module and then notify the user. And then when they click on that link, it's a page that basically is just there to list the modules that are incompatible with the V11 format of the manifest, and then provide a migrate button that just automatically converts that manifest to the new format so they will appear in V11. Because we didn't want to recommend Foundry V11 to users that would update to it and then suddenly they can't have access to a lot of their compendiums that they had before, or modules would would just disappear from the list. And I'm mostly talking about like uh, companion modules like map packs and things like that, which don't get an update, which is different from software modules that add functionality. Those will tend to be updated to match, the API changes in Foundry V11, etc. But on that note, there were also systems that I think the top 10 systems used. Um, there was one or two, maybe, that were V11 compatible when it got released. So we didn't want to have users upgrading to V11 and realizing they can't launch their game because their own system doesn't support V11 yet. So we were also waiting for those systems to be ported to V11. Um, so yeah, um, I believe that was a uh, quite complete answer on that. Ned Raptor asking, might have missed it if it was talked about earlier. Are there any big new features planned for Forge 2024? Big features. Um, I mean, I did mention it earlier. The bazaar, still getting more changes to the bazaar. There's a welcome kind of welcome dialogue for or welcome wizard for new users. So new user joins the forge and they get asked, um, they get pointed towards, oh, you should probably use this region because you have a ping that's faster on this region rather than North America, which is the default for everybody when they create their account, and ask them, do you want to be a DM or do you want to just be a player? And just guiding users um, through setting up their account for the first time. Notification system, so we can notify users of new features they might be interested in, as well as the ability to have like a wish list on the bazaar, or follow creators, so you can see if a creator releases new packages, or if an item on your wish list is on sale or something like that, just being able to notify users about that, as well as continuing to improve the assets library, and more internal changes to the creator dashboard, improving the performance of the website in various aspects and things like that. That's kind of the focus right now for 2024. Yeah. All right. Uh, holiday music. No, it wasn't playing. Um, yeah, I believe I caught up on the questions. Any other new questions for me? I just drank of water, my holiday drink of choice. All right. So no new questions. And in that case, uh, we will conclude the live stream. Bananas. We'll conclude the live stream. Thank you for everybody who joined us and asked their questions. And I hope you enjoyed the update and the year in review of the Forge. And thank you, for just being part of the community, subscribing and following up on our changes. And if you want to keep updated about the Forge, I would recommend, as usual, if you haven't done so already, to follow us on our social media. I'll be posting the links in the chat. So follow us on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, Facebook, um, Instagram. I think there's a bunch more. You don't need to follow me on Patreon. That's fine. You should probably remove it from the list, since that's not actually social media of the company. Um, but yeah, just check us out, and thank you everybody, and have a beautiful holiday season. Um, and happy Christmas and happy Hanukkah as well. I believe people of the Jewish confession are currently in the Hanukkah period, so happy Hanukkah to them. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays for those who don't celebrate any of those religious holidays, but it's still, holidays in terms of vacation or whatever. And most importantly, for me anyway, Happy New Year. And yeah, that's it. And see you next year. Cheers, everybody.